A very good morning to my dear friends and the esteemed members of ICAI. I, on behalf of SICASA of Kanchipuram branch, welcome you all for today's webinar. Today's webinar's topic is Indirect Taxation MCQ revision for Inter and IPCC students. Monday sets the tone for the whole week ahead, right? So, being Monday, I wish you all a very happy week ahead. And let's start the week with a very vibrant session. July 1st is celebrated as National Chartered Accountant Day in India. The day is observed in order to celebrate the formation of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India on June 1st, 1949. As you all know, July 1st is CA Day. We would like to observe this day in advance, that is today. The motto of ICAI is Ya Esha Sukteshu Jagriti, which literally means a person who is awake in those that sleep. It is a quotation from the Upanishads, that is the Kathopanishad. It was given to ICAI at the time of its formation in 1949 by Sri Aurobindo as a part of its emblem. So, I wish you all a very happy CA Day in advance. I now request you all to raise for the ICAI motto song.
Yeshasukneshu Jagrati Yeshasukneshu Jagrati Kamam 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 Sho Nirvimana Tadev Shukram Tadev Shukradatam Nagatam Adeva Mridamujane Asmin Lokah Sarvetanuna Yetadvaita 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 Yetadvaita.
Thank you all. I now request CA Narasimharaghavan sir, Managing Committee member of our branch and also our ex-SICASA chairman, to address the students on this day.
Yeah, very happy morning to you all.
Over to you, sir.
Yes. Yeah, very happy morning to you all, and a very happy week ahead, happy day ahead, and very happy CA Day celebrations in advance. I literally enjoy speaking to students. Of course, not like this in front of all the students who have been assembled in a group of gathering. Of course, I hope everyone is able to hear me. See, on this CA Day, I just want to start with what a student must possess to reach their goal. There is a Sanskrit verse which lists out what a student vidyarthi must possess. Kakat chesta bhagodhyana syavana nirdha tataivacha alpahari grihatyagi vidyarthi panchalakya. This Sanskrit verse is very important for students. It lists out 5 qualities a student must possess. Kakat chesta. I think you all know what the story of a crow. which has seen the water at the bottom of a bottle or bottom of a pot, and it was thirsty, and it want to eat drink water. So what it is, pluck all the stones from around it and put it in the pot so that the water came up and it drank. What does this story say? Kakachesta. The untiring effort. It should be the first step of any student. You have to learn how untiring the crow is to drink the water. That effort has to be taken from the crow. So you should be like a crow for its untiring effort. Bhagavad Dhyana. What is Bhagavad? Bhagavad means a crane. Dhyana. What does a crane do for its lunch or dinner or whatever? Stands in a river in one leg without even moving. It focuses. It focuses only on fish. That too, not on small fishes. It only targets the big fish, so that it will be single attack on a big fish will serve its purpose. So it focuses. Come what may, it will focus for 1 or 2 hours standing in the single leg in a river, and it catches the big fish. Until it catches the big fish, it never loses focus. So what should you learn from a crane? The focus. It should be the focus that you should learn from a crane, which way still the goal is achieved. You should also focus in your life. You should also focus in your studies. Till your goal is achieved. You should not be deviated. That you should learn from a crane. Then third is Shravananidha, like a dog. Have you ever seen a dog or analyzed a dog? It will always be open to surroundings, always alert, even when it is in sleep. Nidra means sleep. Even when it is in sleep, the dog is always alert. As a CA student, you should all, as a student in fact, not particularly CA, as a student, we should always be alert to the outside activities and try to learn everything that is available. Try to observe everything. Sir. That alertness is most important for any student. And alpahari. What does this alpahari? Alpahari means food. See, you should eat when it is required and also what it is required. Your senses, your five senses should always be open to eat only what it is required. You should try to forget the unwanted and unwarranted things. Try not to observe all those things. Try not to lead all those things. Try not to take into brain all those things. So you alpahari, you should always be taking into account only what is required for your five senses that is necessary for attaining the goal. Then Grihat Tyagi. What is Grihat Tyagi? Leaving your comfort zone. Coming out of your comfort zone. Always you should not play within your comfort. Don't play within your comfort zone. Try to come out of your comfort zone. Analyze your weakness. Then try to overcome it. That is called Grihat Tyagi. This is called Vidyarthi Pancharasham. These are the five qualities Vidyarthi means a student. These are the five qualities a student definitely should possess. What is it? You should be hardworking like a crow, focusing like a crane, alert like a dog, not learning, not getting into unwanted, unwarranted things of your five senses, and leaning out to your comfort zone. You should not always be within your comfort zone and try to achieve objectives. You should come out and search for other ideas, alternative ideas. Coming to that point, now because we are all taken a particular brilliant and wonderful professional course, a chartered accountancy course. What does a chartered accountancy course tell us? Let us assume the CA course is like a train journey. It is a train journey. You have started a train journey, not you have started a train journey, and you are all focusing on the examination like it is a destination. Remember, examinations under the CA is not a destination, it is only a junction coming in between your destination. The destination of a train never ends. It will reach the end and it will start back. Like a CA course, the train is CA is categorically in CA can be assumed as a train, a full of journey, knowledge and wisdom. A train full of knowledge and wisdom. You are taken up a train full of knowledge and wisdom. And these examinations are only part of a junction which you have to cross to get to the next stage. That's all. It is not an end in itself. Beware, the examinations are not an end to your knowledge or wisdom. You should understand that the wisdom goes on and on and on. We are also in the same train. we as a professional, we never say we have reached the destination. No professional can ever say that they have reached the destination. Everyone is traveling in the train. The only difference being you are all in a different compartment, we are all in a different compartment. That's all. That is no difference on knowledge gaining or wisdom or observing others. The qualities which I told earlier for a student also applicable to a chartered accountant. So this is how the train journey starts and the examination being a junction. Why I took up this example? Now everybody is trying, everybody is, most of the students is post on one single thought. நமக்கு எப்போ எக்ஸாம் நடக்கும், நமக்கு மே 2ஆம் தேதி எக்ஸாம் இன்னி வரைக்கும் நடக்கல, நமக்கு எக்ஸாம் எப்போ நடக்கும், நடந்தா எப்படி நடக்கும், நடக்குமா நடக்காதா? Remember, I'll put it this way. Your exams are already over. In my opinion, your exams are already over. May 2nd is already over and your exams are over. What are you now trying to do? What are you now trying to prove? The 100 days have gone after examination. 50 days have gone after examinations and 50 days have gone before examination. So you are only focusing on examination without observing the knowledge or wisdom. Then it will be a very difficult task to reach to pass that section. Remember, whenever in post, you should be very clear. Whenever the exam is, you are going to write. Already your time given for preparation of exams are over. Already your examination dates are over. What is now you are going to achieve? What is now you are going to read? I don't see anything to read now because your exams are already over. You can only write the examinations rather than reading the examination. There is no question of reading for the examination. It is only writing the examination. So I feel you people can come out of the books and just think of how to write the examinations and do some knowledge gaining or wisdom gaining activities in the middle rather than sticking to your inter books or final books, whichever it may be, for only focusing on the examination. This is an humble request from my side because focusing on examination too much will stress you out. I normally used to tell the life cycle of an examination, the product life cycle or Norman curve that is always there. There will always be a starting stage, growth stage, maturity stage, saturation stage, and decline stage. You should take up your examinations at the peak, that is at the time of maturity, not at the time of saturation or decline. And I now feel that majority of the people have been in the saturation or decline stage because many of you would have already taken up once or twice the examination or new to this and you are already focused on examination test on when the examination. Throw that thought away from your mind. Let's concentrate on knowledge and wisdom. And there is also one more thing I just want to tell you. Don't prepare for the examination. Don't study for the examination. But whereas, love the process you do for the preparation. It is a process what you should love rather than preparation what you do. Preparation is not required now. It is a process that is required. You should love the process for it. Love. Take it. Analyze the process. Understand the process you do rather than understand the subject. The process of preparation is most important than the preparation itself. Seriously, many of you are not understanding this in my opinion. Please, please, please remember the process rather than preparation. Number 2, respect your principles. That is also most important. Why? Because, see, your principal is giving you a 3 years knowledge gaining opportunity with no responsibility and accountability on your part. He is signing just because you are seeing, he is understanding, he is just going ahead with the client's papers just because you are giving him a report. That's much of confidence a principal has in you. The same confidence you should also have in your mind, the same confidence you should also have in your work. So you respect him because he is taking a risk based on your working, based on your papers, working papers, understanding, analysis, and the explanation. He is signing the balance sheet just because you are seeing it, and he is just asking you a few questions and throwing it, signing it away with entire responsibility on him. So respect your principal. Your principal is to be respected like God because he is just giving you knowledge, he is just giving you working space, he is just giving you work, understanding concepts, explaining everything without even accountability and responsibility. And I should also say always you should have an analytical review of what you are doing. Just analyze what you are doing. Analyze. Analytical aspect is the most important for any development. And remember, as I said, these chartered accountancy course or this chartered accountancy profession is not an end in itself. It is a starting point. You are boarded a train, it will run all along till you attain your retirement. Even then, after retirement also, there is no bar in new understanding or acquiring knowledge and wisdom. And one more thing I just want to tell. What Abdul Kalam says, being creative. The success of a student is to be creative. You should be creative. You should be creative enough. There are so many things that can be creative, that can be created by you because you being an younger generation are more tech savvy and you understand the concepts very well. When you can understand the concepts of a technology, what is the problem in understanding the concept of a chartered accountancy course? I don't foresee any problem in that. Only thing, the kind of negativity is enforced on you because CA course is tough or something like that. That makes you to be a negative aspect of your understanding or knowledge share. Just understand what you say. Just understand what you do. And the next second point, Abdul Kalam says, being imaginative. Don't cut your imagination. For a particular instance, don't cut your imagination. Being imaginative is most important. You should imagine beyond everything, beyond something. Don't stop your imagination. Imagination is most important for any person. See, imagine makes you to drive. இளைஞர்களே கனவு காணுங்கள். This is what Abdul Kalam said. சும்மா அதுக்காக வந்து the dreams in a day should not come as a negative factor. You should achieve the dreams that come in a day also. Your focus should be achieving the dreams that you aspire. For that, you should have a continuous knowledge gaining aspiration, knowledge gaining attitude. You should learn, you should learn, you should learn. Not focus on your examinations. Passing examination is something different. Time and again, I'm telling you students, time and again, I'm telling you people, passing examination is something different. Learning something is something different. It doesn't go together. Maybe it can support. It doesn't go together. Passing is something different. You can do wonders. That I agree. But knowledge training is most important, which will lead you a long way. And the fourth point, what he says is hard work. Hard work is most essential. You can never imagine without hard work, nothing comes. And I generally see too much of hard work in CA. No, it is not the quantity of time you spend in reading a particular subject. It is not the amount of time you spend in reading. It is not the amount of time you spend in understanding the subject. It is the quality of time you spend without deviations, without any differences, without any disturbances. You should spend your quality time. You should focus like a crane. Coming again to the crane. Crane, focus like a crane. Alert like a dog. This is what is required to clear your life. Remember, CA is not a qualification. CA is a life. Life is altogether. Life for your eternity. I generally say all these things to all the stages where don't take CA as a qualification. Don't read CA as a qualification. Read chartered accountancy as a life. We are living a life of a chartered accountant and we are not qualified chartered accountant. You need chartered accountant, you ask, you ask, they will say, we are leading a life of a chartered accountant. நாங்கெல்லாம் chartered accountant தான் வாழறோம். We are still learning. After 2017, so GST எடுத்துனீங்கன்னா daily ஒரு notification, everybody is learning on one way or other. So much of dynamism was added to our profession. So you should always be open to learning. You should always be alert for learning. You should not change your attitude for learning. And the preparation is most important, the way you prepare. And one more thing, I find so much of people have been very good at reading. But one thing I went into understanding and have an urge to learn new. But my point is, if you are not putting into work, putting into the table what you read, and what is the use of getting additional knowledge about it? Your knowledge should be used while you do your articles, while you do your work. That is what the uniformity or unanimity of CA course is like that. CA course is developed. Why it is given an on-the-job training? That articleship training and your studies go together. You should apply the knowledge gained during articleship training while studying. The same way, you should apply your knowledge gained through studying in the articleship work, doing articleship training. But I find most of the students are not correlating between these two. They see the two different things as these two different things as two different tracks. No, please remember, articleship training and studies go together like a railway track which goes together. The two parallel tracks, without two tracks, a train cannot run. So articleship training and studies go together. Give importance to your articleship training, which no other course offers. Remember, no other course offers a fantastic training such a situation like this, fantastic scheme of study like this. Either they will go by book or they will go by on-the-job training, which will be only after completion of their books. I don't foresee this kind of schematic education system is available in any other course, which makes our chartered accountancy profession unique, which make our chartered accountancy profession best, which make our chartered accountancy profession wonderful for life. That is what I said. Take chartered accountancy course as a life. And if you try to change your results, you will not succeed. But if you try to change the way you see, it will change your results. That is most important. And last, I just want to tell you some small word about the examination. Don't harp on when the examinations will be, how the examinations will be, whether at all the examinations will be held or something else. Don't put undue pressure. See, why what all students are doing now? They are always stressing something, trying to think over, trying to do something, or trying to always regret on something which has been done in the past. Your past actions cannot be changed now. You cannot put undue pressure on your past activities. You cannot put, regret for your past activities. Past is past, gone. Try to live today. Don't think on the future which is not in your hands. That is why it is called present. The present is the present given by the God. Think on today. Think for today. Think for life. What you are learning, what you are preparing. Give importance to your learning. Give importance to your preparation. And never ever think of your examination, which is junction, which will automatically pass by itself if you focus on all these things. If you focus on your effort, if you focus on your planning, if you focus on your alertness, if you have right kind of mix to do, and if you come out of your comfort zone, these junctions, examination junctions, either be it inter or be it final, will automatically pass. The train will automatically run. You don't need to run behind the train, or you don't need to run to catch the train. You are already in the train. Remember that you are already boarded the chartered accountancy train. It will definitely take you. It will definitely take you beyond examination. It will definitely take you to the destination, though the destination is not the destination as you see. You will start your journey again once you reach the destination. As such, you people are thinking that junction, examination being a junction is the destination. No, please remember, it is a junction beyond which the train will certainly run. That your knowledge and wisdom should certainly learn. Your learning process will always run beyond that junction. Remember, don't put too much pressure. Don't think too much on your examination. Be happy. Enjoy what you do. Enjoy what you do. இஷ்டப்பட்டு வேலை செய்யுங்க, கஷ்டப்பட்டு வேலை செய்யாங்க. This is the Tamil proverb. தமிழ் மொழியில் இஷ்டப்பட்டு வேலை செய்யணும், கஷ்டப்பட்டு வேலை செய்யக்கூடாது. This is what you should learn. You should like what you are doing. You should not feel bad about what you are doing. So remember, I hope all of you would have been now come out of your comfort zone. I request you to come out of your comfort zone. Don't think too much on your examination point of view. Don't always harp on your examinations, harp on your knowledge training, harp on your preparatory work. And I wish you all the very best for your bright future. Hope to see everyone as a professional, everyone as my professional colleagues who are going to travel along with me in the train, and nobody is going to come down in between. Nobody is going to get down in between. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. I congratulate all students and all other members who have been with me. And I also have congratulate, I wish you a very happy CA day, happy journey ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivation and insight. It is really Satkriti, member of our SICASA, to introduce CA Sumit Kedia, sir, the session presenter. Over to you, Satkriti.
Thank you, Annapurni. Good morning, everyone. It is a privilege introducing the speaker of this session, CA Sumit Kedia, sir. So he is a practicing chartered accountant and partner at AK Lunawat and Associates. and is specializing in indirect taxations, particularly GST. He is presently advising a portfolio of clients from automotive, auto ancillaries, IT and ITES, construction, infrastructure, education, and entertainment sectors. He has carried out GST impact study, implementation, and training for various public sector undertakings, listed entities, and other corporates. He has authored a comprehensive book on GST audit and annual return, and also on key implications on GST on financial statements, which was released by Shri T. N. Manoharan Sir, Chairman Canara Bank, Padma Shri Awardee, and past President of ICAI, and Shri K. M. Ravichandran, Commissioner GST and Central Excise. He is associated with the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as a resource person for its CPE programs, GST certification course, and also a faculty member for educating CA students. He has addressed more than 200 seminars on indirect taxes at various platforms, including ICMA, CII, FICCI, Controller and Auditor General of India, Defence Training Institute of Government of India, National Academy of Customs, Service Tax and Central Excise Commissionerate, Large Taxpayer Unit, Chartered Accountants Study Circles, Society of Auditors, universities, trade associations, and etc. He is also a member in various professional and other forums and is an executive committee member at Tamil Nadu Economic Affairs and Taxation Panel Committee of Confederation of Indian Industry. He has also contributed articles in various professional magazines, including Chartered Accountants Study Circle, Industrial Outlook Magazine, and International Fiscal Association. We once again welcome you, sir, for this session. And now I request you to take over this session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Satkriti, for the wonderful introduction. The entire team of SICASA, the chairman Satya sir, Raghavan sir, and the entire team, it is always a pleasure to speak at SICASA Kanchipuram branch. I have been associated with SICASA from quite some time, and I am always surprised by the commitment, by the zeal with the entire committee of SICASA works. Although being students, but you all given your best when you organize any webinar or any session at your premises also. So with this, I will share my presentation and then I will start the same. Just before starting the session, just 2 minutes, like what Raghavan sir said, even many students have told me that they are in a lot of stress because of the postponement of exams. They are unable to focus on their studies. So please take this as an opportunity. Dream big. Probably someone would have aimed to pass CA exams, but since exams are postponed to a greater extent, now it's in July as scheduled. So you have sufficient and abundant time. So please aim higher now. Earlier you would have aimed to pass. Now please aim to get a rank. If you aim like this, you will not get that that lethargic nature, because many students tell me that the moment they wake up, they always get the thought whether exams will be conducted or not. They don't get the flow to study for the exams. They get lethargic. They start using social media. Still then after some time they again start reading, but they are unable to get the flow. So my humble advice, please stay focused. I know it's a challenge to continue the momentum, but please remember, what is stress for you is stress for everyone, because COVID-19 has not only affected you, but the entire world, entire population of 7.2 or 7.5 billion across the world. People have a lot of stress. Everyone has a stress. Instead, I can remember an example. A student was trying to aim first rank in CA exams, but unfortunately, he got 24th rank. He was in bad stress. After the results, initial 4 to 5 days, he could not even speak to anyone properly. He was not eating properly because he said he was in stress because he aimed for first rank, but he got 24th rank. So the definition of stress is different for each and every person. Because of COVID-19, there are a lot of people who are affected. People are jobless. They don't have money to eat. There are a lot of stranded workers, casual laborers trying to go back to their hometown. So everyone has stress. So the amount of stress which you have is very less compared to all these situations. So my humble advice, please don't stress yourself. Instead, take this as an opportunity to do more well in the exams than you would have planned or thought of earlier. With this, I will get into my discussion. I hope my screen is visible. I hope my screen is visible. So this session is predominantly for IPCC students, indirect taxes, but this can also be useful for CA final, because the syllabus which is there in IPCC in indirect taxes is almost as if the entire syllabus is there in CA final also. So what I will do is I will discuss some case studies, examples, how MCQs are drafted, how these MCQs appear in the exams, and how to approach them. So this slide is just on a lighter note, that these MCQs provide us a bigger opportunity to claim good marks in our exams. See, because one big advantage is there is no negative marking. Second big advantage is, even if you have a slight hint about the answer, from the MCQs you can try to interpret and come to a conclusion that yes, this option can be the answer. Whereas if it's a descriptive answer, if you don't know the answer and you have a hint, you might find it difficult to address the answer. In case of MCQ, that is an advantage, that if you have a hint of the answer, still you can try to approach the answer. In descriptive questions, you might get part of the marks. In MCQ, your answer can be right or wrong, and if it's wrong, you will obviously get the full marks. So MCQ has with it a lot of advantages. So I generally call that it is kind of a 1+1 free, because this MCQ are generally a big scorer for all of us. But still, we have to pay a lot of attention and we have to be careful while approaching these MCQ questions. Many times students tell me after writing exams that while reading the question, they thought that yes, they know this question, and out of excitement, they would have answered something without even carefully analyzing all the 4 options in given MCQ. So please, any question which appears, you should read carefully. You should not take MCQ also lightly. And off late, the MCQs are also are twisted. In the sense, out of 4 options, 2 or 3 options, all of the 2 or 3 options might appear to be the answer for the question, because this might resemble very close to the question. So many times there is an ambiguity as to what can be the answer. So please be careful when you read any questions about MCQ. So basically you have 30 marks as objective type, 70 marks as subjective in your IPCC inter exams. Out of 70 marks, 42 marks is predominantly for direct taxes, and 28 marks is basically for indirect taxes. So that comes to 70. Then you have an objective type, predominantly 12 marks you have IDT, and 18 marks you have for direct tax. I have gone through, when I get the feedback of the questions being asked in IPCC, I'm pretty sure if you do a decent preparations, you can achieve very good in your MCQ. Let me just take you through some type of MCQs which can be asked, kind of an MCQs which generally get asked in your CA inter exams. First, just want to highlight some points. In IPCC MCQs, generally questions can be on limits and numbers, like what is the limit to get registration under GST? What is the limit for composition scheme? Within how many days, if you do not make payment to your supplier, ITC will be required to reverse. So many times the questions can be in limits and numbers. So please remember those, any limits given in the act and numbers given in that. Next is, be clear with the basic concepts. Many times, being an inter exams, IPCC inter, which many do not have practical knowledge, questions are majorly asked on the basic concepts. Example, aggregate turnover might comprise of so and so. Exempt turnover might not comprise of so and so. Casual taxable person is a person who has to take registration within so and so days. Casual taxable person has to deposit so and so rupees before starting a business. Exemption, whether this item is exempted, this item is not exempted. What is the time of supply in case of reverse charge, in case of supply of voucher? So what I'm trying to say is, many times the questions are tested in IPCC based on basic concepts. So keep your concepts intact, and I'm sure you can score good marks in your MCQs. Then, as I already said, read the questions carefully. The moment you look at a question, whether it is MCQs or descriptive, please don't jump into a conclusion that yes, I know this question. Excitement should not come in. You might know it, but please read the question properly and then answer. Just for saving 30 seconds, you might lose 3 to 4 minutes which you give to answer the question. So any question you approach, please read it carefully, whether it's an MCQ or it's a descriptive question. Please understand the question, then make an attempt to answer. In MCQ, first read the question, analyze the answer, and read all the 4 options before attempting to answer. The moment you go in option number A and you feel this is the answer, please don't tick it. Please go through the other 4 answers also. Many times an answer might look to you correct, but there might be another option which will be a detailed answer to the question. So please be careful when you answer MCQs. Read all the options before attempting to answer the question. Third point which I wanted to say is, many times in question, please read carefully. The question will say which of the below is false. Sometimes the question will say which of the below is true. So please read the question carefully when you answer the question. Because let's say sometimes it says which of the following is false. But when you read the first option, you know the provision. You feel that yes, this is the answer. But the question is which of them is false. So many times the negative questions are being asked. So you should read the questions while answering it. Next is be careful in none of the above versus all the above. Many times the D option in multiple choice might be all of the above or none of the above. So please understand that. I mean to say, please read that carefully. Many times you might skip that. You might just see all the above, none of the above or all the above. That carefulness should be there while attempting to answer MCQs. With this, let us get into the sample FAQs, MCQs. I will discuss them in detail with the provisions. We have multiple advantage. One, you will come to know the type of MCQs which can be asked in the exams. Next benefit is you will be able to revise your provisions under the various sections of the GST Act which is applicable to your syllabus. I would request, if possible, please post your answers in the chat box so that the session can be a little interactive. If possible, if you know the answers, because many might not be in this attempt, many might be writing in your November attempt or next attempt. So you might not have prepared for exams. But still, if you know the answer, please post in the chat box so that we can have some interactions with the participants. And as I remember, this will be stored live in the YouTube channel. So might be students even look afterwards also. So the first question, GST came into force by the -- Constitutional Amendment Act. GST came into force by which Constitutional Amendment Act? 100. The second option is 101th Amendment. Third is 102nd Amendment. Fourth is 110th Amendment. So which is the Constitutional Amendment Act by which GST came into force? So what is the answer for this question? Now, many might think, who know the GST law well, that's a very basic question. But believe me, many will not know the answer to this question, because although it might look basic, but generally what people do, they study supply, time of supply, place of supply, etc. But they don't look at the basic chapter. If you see in IPCC, the first chapter is introduction. And introduction has this in detail as to which Constitutional Amendment Act GST came into force. So this is from your syllabus of IPCC. And no doubt CA final also. So the answer for this question is 101th Amendment Act. So the answer is B option, 101. GST came into force by 101th Constitutional Amendment Act. Next question. Mr. Onida is a dealer of Mrs. Onida is a dealer of air conditioners. He permanently transfers one of these for his personal use at his residence. Does this amount to a supply? As I said, while discussing MCQs, I will describe the provisions. I will discuss the provisions also, so that those who are watching this video now or at a later time, you will also have a revision of the important provisions of the GST Act. Now, let me also mention that I have taken those MCQs from those provisions of the GST Act, which I felt more relevant from your exams perspective. So now, what could be the answer for this question? Okay, so we had 2-3 participants which rightly answered in the chat box, where they said it is 101 Constitutional Amendment Act by which GST came into force. Wonderful, Vidya, and wonderful, Angu. Your both answers are correct. So next question is, let's say example, I will just explain in detail. I am a dealer of air conditioners. So I buy air conditioners, I sell air conditioners. What happens at my home? My wife says, kindly, since you are a dealer of air conditioners, our AC at home is not functioning properly. So kindly get one AC at home also. Now, see, I have not mentioned the question in too detail because anyways I'm explaining them. So I, from my stock in trade, I took one AC and took to my residence. Now this transaction, my stock asset I have transferred to my home. Now, whether this transaction is treated as a supply or not. So the options are yes. Second option is no, it's not a supply. Third option says yes, only if ITC was availed on its purchase. Fourth option is none of the above. So please post what could be the answer for this question. If you know, or if you don't know also, you can make an attempt as to what could be the answer for this question. Please read carefully and please read the options also carefully. What could be the answer? Just think, might be this can be a question in your IPCC exam also. Because this might appear easy, but this is not an easy question. What could be the answer for this question? Now, you can post your answers, but simultaneously I will come to it. Now, if you see schedule 1 of supply chapter, we all know what is supply. Supply has to be for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. But schedule 1 says 4 transactions which are listed in schedule 1 says these transactions, even without consideration, can be treated as a supply, even without consideration. And the entry 1 of schedule 1 says permanent transfer or disposal of an asset on which ITC is taken will be treated as supply. I repeat, permanent transfer or disposal of a business asset on which ITC is taken, input tax credit is taken. So if I transfer permanently any asset out of my business, any asset on which I would have taken ITC, then even if it is without consideration, will be treated as deemed supply as per schedule 1 entry 1. So based on that, if you see, the answer to this question will be option C, which is yes, only if ITC was availed on its purchase. So only I said you be clear when you answer, because someone who knows schedule 1 might tend to answer the first option, which is yes, ITC is available. But as I said you some time back, please read all the 4 options before answering. That was the reason I said. If you see here, although first might be the right answer, but schedule 1 entry 1 says provided ITC was availed on this. So third option says yes, only if ITC was availed, because let's say if I purchase an item for gifting purpose, in that case I will not even take ITC when I purchase that, because anyways I know I will gift it to someone on which I cannot take ITC, and hence that will not fall under this. Schedule entry 1, to fall under this entry, I should have taken ITC on that asset to fall as a deemed supply. Example, let's say motor vehicle. Many might already know. Let's say example, I purchase a motor vehicle. I am, let's say, a chartered accountant, not let's say, I am a chartered accountant. So I'm into my CA practice. I purchase a motor vehicle, a car, to go to my client's place, to visit department offices, to represent client, etc. On this motor vehicle, I cannot claim credit. So if let's say I dispose this vehicle free of cost to someone, or let's say I sell it as a scrap, no value, that will not come under this entry, because on motor vehicle I had not taken ITC. So that will not come under this clause. So very important, I should have taken ITC to fall under this clause. So if someone wants to twist a question, they can twist like this. So just an example. So one participant had answered rightly, stating the C answer is right, which is yes, only if ITC was availed on its purchase. Coming to the next question. Input tax credit is available in respect of motor vehicles used for. So we have 4 options. ITC is available in respect of motor vehicle which is used for, first, transportation of goods. Second option is for further supply of motor vehicles. Third option is imparting driving or training. Fourth option is in case of all the above. So the question is ITC available in respect of motor vehicles which are used for so and so purpose. So there are 4 purposes, 3 purposes I have said. motor vehicle is used for transportation of goods, or it is used for further supply of motor vehicles. Third option is it is used for imparting driving. And fourth option is all the three purpose above purpose ITC will be available. So what could be the answer for this question? As I said, these concepts are applicable. See, this question can also come in CA final also, because in CA final also you have 10 to 12 marks which are non-subjective questions, and balance can be based in case of case studies format. So such case studies can appear even in inter or in final. So only I said this session can be important for definitely for CA final as well. So okay, so Angu Ganga has answered. The answer will be all the above. Fantastic, your answer is correct. Here ITC is available in all the three options. So the answer, fourth option, which is all the above, is the right answer in the given question. Because section 17.5 first entry block credit says, no, if by ITC for transportation of passengers is not allowed, but if it is allowed, if it is used for the following purpose, ITC will be allowed. So the answer is correct. Fourth purpose, if I'm using for transportation of goods, I'm using for further supply of motor vehicles, or I'm a driving school imparting driving using the motor vehicles. In all the three cases, I can get credit. So answer is fourth, all the above. Vidya has also answered rightly, stating it's all the above. Okay, let me twist this question. Let's say might be this question might be for a final also, or an inter. So, let's say I purchase motor vehicle for giving on rent. I repeat, I purchase motor vehicles and I give it on rent to customers. So let's say I purchase every month, I purchase one new motor vehicle. So total I have around 7 to 8 motor vehicles. I purchase motor vehicles and I give on rent to customers. Let's say for 2 days, 1 day, 4 days, whatever. My question here is, am I eligible to take credit on the purchase of these motor vehicles? Just while reading this MCQ, suddenly it struck me this question, because we already had advanced rulings also in this question, which I have just stated you. So it can be twisted in such a way. So my question is, I purchase motor vehicles and I give it on rent to customers. I'm in that business. So let's say I would have total, in the last 1 year, I would have purchased around 7 to 8 vehicles, which I'm giving on rent to the customers. Whether ITC is allowed in case of purchase of motor vehicle in the given situation. So please post your answer. Whatever you might feel yes, you might feel no, please post that answer. In that case, can I claim credit on purchase of motor vehicle if I'm giving on rent to my customers? So if you see, answer here would be, in my question, answer would be, it is used for further supply. So I can avail ITC input tax credit, because if you see section 17.5 first entry says, if I'm using for transportation of goods, I can avail ITC. If I'm using for transportation of passengers, that means if I'm in the business, then I can claim credit. Let's say example, Ashok Leland wants me to supply a motor vehicle to them for transportation of their passengers. So I transport their passengers, which is their employees. So Ashok Leland hires me, stating that you kindly pick up my employees to the factory and drop them back to their premises. So I am in the business of transportation of passengers and I do that for Ashok Leland. In that case, I can claim credit. Or if I'm using the motor vehicles for further supply of motor vehicles. Now, why I ask the question of further supply? Because generally people think further supply means further sale. But I repeat, no, because supply includes sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease, disposal. So supply is not sale. It includes all these things. So when I'm giving a further rent, it is also a further supply of motor vehicles, and hence in my given question, I can take input tax credit. So please note. And the third condition was for imparting driving training. Let's say I'm running a driving school. Well, people come and I teach them to how to drive four-wheelers. In that case also I can take credit. So there are three exceptions. One is further supply of motor vehicles. Next is transportation of passengers. Third is imparting training or driving. So in these three scenarios, I can avail ITC on motor vehicles. Now the entry says only for credit is blocked only for transportation of passengers. That means if you purchase any vehicle, let's say truck, tempo, for transportation of goods, ITC is available. There is no blockage. Now, from 1st July 2017, I repeat, 1st July 2017, this provision of ITC on motor vehicles were there. But however, on 1st February 2019, there was an amendment. And for exams, wherever there is an amendment, please be careful, because questions can be tested on the amendments. Many times, many questions are tested on the amendments. Now, although someone can say there are a lot of amendments in the GST law, but let me repeat that for IPCC exam, the syllabus which you have, there are not many amendments. Example, in block credits, you have around 4 to 5 amendments from 1st February 2019. In time of supply, you might have around 2 amendments. In supply chapter, you might have around 2 amendments. One was in schedule 2. So amendments are limited in this very important provisions like supply, ITC. So in the procedural compliances, there are circular or clarifications issued. Example, in ITC, there might be a lot of amendments on certain specific sections, like buy one get one free claim credit or so and so procedures. Now, so in block credits, there had not been many amendments. So please be clear about block credits. So 1st February 2009, there was an amendment. They said ITC is eligible. ITC is eligible on motor vehicles if it is more than 13 seats. I repeat, ITC is eligible on motor vehicles if it is more than 13 seats. So let's say if I purchase a bus, let's say I'm a Ashok Leyland company, I want to provide transportation facilities to my employees. So what I do is I purchase a bus and I hire a driver. So on that bus, which is generally more than 13 seats, which I'm using for transportation of my employees, I can claim input tax credit. I repeat, I can claim ITC because the motor vehicle is more than 13 seats. So if the motor vehicle is more than 13 seats, there is no blockage of input tax credit at all. So any vehicle I use for any purpose, provided it is for business use, more than 13 seats, ITC can be availed. However, if the motor vehicle has seats up to 13 seats only, up to 13 seats, like a normal motor cars, normal cars, Swift, Desire, or normal cars which we have, I-20 or Baleno, etc., which are 5 seats, 6 seats. In that case, if it is up to 13 seats, I cannot claim ITC. But exception are 3 cases: further supply, transportation of passengers, or imparting training driving. In that 3 cases alone, I can take ITC on motor vehicles which are up to 13 seats. So I hope with this all are clear that up to 13 seats motor vehicles I cannot claim credit, but exceptions are further supply, transportation of passengers, and imparting training or driving. And more than 13 seats, there is no blockage of credit. If it is used for business, we can claim credit. Third point is any motor vehicle used for transportation of goods, there is no blockage. We can take input tax credit. Yes. So coming to the next question. So as I said, I am already detailing the provisions surrounding the respective question so that you have a good revision for your exams. Or if you're writing in normal exams, you can have a good memory or no revision for your exams. Input tax credit is available in respect of first option, buy one get one free. Second option, goods given as samples. Third option is in case of gifts. Fourth option is none of the above. As I said, I have just mentioned short question here. So I will just explain this. Now my question here is, I can claim ITC in respect of which of the items? Let's say example, I purchase buy one get one free, some item like this. Now, can I avail ITC? Or let's say, sorry, instead I am supplying, let's say I am in the business of shirts. So I have an offer, 1 plus 1 free. If you buy one shirt is free, which is very, very common. We see a lot of showrooms, a lot of shopkeepers have such offers. Buy 3, get 2 free. Not only in garments, in various commodities also we have such offers, like you buy one sauce ketchup bottle, you will get 1 ketchup bottle free, small bottle free. So when I supply buy one get one, whether ITC is eligible, or because see, when I'm giving one item plus one item free, whether should I reverse ITC on that item which I'm giving free? The first question is buy one get one. In case of buy one get one, should I reverse ITC? Whether I'm eligible to take ITC. Second option is if I'm giving goods as samples. Let's say in pharmaceutical companies, a lot of times these drug medicines, I give as sample, free sample to my dealers. for which I do not charge them any money. For that sample, can I take ITC or should I reverse my ITC when I distribute these samples? Third option is, let's say I give gifts. I give gifts to my suppliers and dealers, or someone I give gifts. On these gifts which I purchase, can I avail ITC? And the fourth option is, in none of the above I can avail ITC, I have to reverse the ITC. So Harika has mentioned the answer that in case of buy one, get one free, ITC can be claimed. Fantastic. So Harika has rightly answered. She has said, in case of buy one, get one free, ITC need not be reversed. Fantastic. This is a tricky question, because why this is a tricky question? In case of buy one, get one free, many times generally we think, since I'm giving for free, ITC is not available. But please be careful. In case of buy one, get one free, we had a circular which was issued in 2019, which said in case of buy one, get one free, it is not actually free, but the price of the second product which I'm giving free is already included in the price of the first product. So let's say when I'm telling you, if you buy one shirt for 2,000 rupees, another shirt for 2,000 rupees will be free. So if you buy one shirt of 2,000 rupees, I will give you another shirt of 2,000 rupees free of cost. But circular says this shirt is not free. The price of this shirt is already included in the price of the main product. So generally in buy one get one free, we charge single price. So the circular says the single price which I am charging includes the free item price as well. So the circular specifically and clearly stated, in case of buy one get one, ITC is not required to be reversed. So this is a tricky question. Answer is option A, because in case of when I give free samples, section 17.5 clause H specifically blocks credit in case of gifts and free samples. So item B and C, credit cannot be availed if I give something free or as a sample. ITC is blocked specifically. Next question. Obtaining legal services, attracting RCM, but not making full payment within 180 days, requires reversal or not? I'll explain this question. Let's take an example. I'm running a CA firm. So I get an opinion or I get a legal service from an advocate. In that case, I will be liable to pay GST under reverse charge, right? Now, the question is, I do not make payment to my advocate within a period of 180 days. So the question is whether this requires ITC, because section 16 subsection 2 second proviso says, if you do not make payment within a period of 180 days to your supplier, ITC has to be reversed. So here also supplier of services advocate, I am the recipient, but I do not make payment to him within a period of 180 days. So whether ITC is required to be reversed? Answer to first option is yes, to the extent of payment not made. So first provision says, to the extent I have not made payment. So let's say bill value might be 1 lakh. I paid 60,000 rupees within 180 days. 40,000 I have not made payment within a period of 180 days. So the answer says yes, to the extent payment not made. So to the extent 40,000 of payment not made, I have to reverse ITC. Second option, reversal of input on entire amount I have to do, because even if I do not make partial payment or whatever, if entire amount is not paid, no, I have to reverse the entire ITC. Third option is no need to reverse input tax rate at all. Maybe because it intends to say that this provision does not apply to reverse charge. So it says or legal services. So third option says no reversal required. Fourth option says none of the above. So what could be the answer for this? So Divya has rightly answered. She said, in this case, there is no reversal required. See, again, this is a tricky question, because if an examiner wants to twist the question, it can be easily twisted like this. Now, let's say I'm a student and I'm answering this question in the exam. Suddenly, what I might think, the moment I see 180 days, payment is not made, suddenly I will think, yes, if payment is not made within 180 days, reversal is required, and I will say reversal is required. So I will answer that yes, reversal is required to the extent not paid. But as I said, please read the question carefully. Payment is not made within 1 days, ITC should be reversed. That is right. But this provision of 180 days does not apply in case of reverse charge provision, because in case of reverse charge, when the advocate provides service to me, he is not charging me any GST. I am only paying GST to the government under reverse charge. So my GST payment and payment to the advocate does not have any interlink. So in case of reverse charge, the provision of 180 days does not apply. So please, again, I repeat, when you answer MCQs, please read the question properly, because the examiner can twist the question, sometimes in IPCC and many times in CA finally. Next question. What is the last date to avail ITC pertaining to a financial year? So if I want to take an ITC, till what date I can avail ITC? Let's say example for the financial 1920. What is the last date to avail ITC? So of options are in the returns of the specific month. So let's say it is a March month invoice, then credit can be taken only in the March month. It cannot be taken subsequently. Second option is on or before filing of annual return. So let's say for financial 1920, the annual return due date might be 31st December 2020. So it says till that date you can take credit. Third option is on or before filing of returns for the month of September of subsequent year. So when you talk about, let's say, financial year 1920, this third option says you can take credit up to due date of filing September return, which is 20th October. Fourth option says earlier of option 2 or 3, whichever is earlier. Okay, so Angu has answered that third option is correct, on or before filing returns for the month of September of subsequent year. Aishwarya has answered stating the answer is fourth option, which is earlier of 2 and 3. Chandani Reddy has also answered rightly. So if you see, the answer is option 4, because whichever is earlier, due date of filing September month return or date of filing annual return, whichever is earlier. So let's say example for the financial 1920, just to explain in detail, for financial 1920, let's say the due date of filing annual return is 31st December 2020. And so let's say I file my annual return on, let's say, 5th of October, or let's say 5th of November 2020. I repeat, I file my annual return for 1920 on 5th of November 2020. So second option is filing the annual return. So I file the annual return on, let's say, 5th of November. Second option can be little modified. It is mentioned on or before filing annual return. It is the actual date of filing annual return. So 5th November. Or due date of filing September return, which is 20th October 2020. So the answer will be 5th November or 20th October, whichever is earlier. Why this provision? Because sometimes I might file annual return even before October. Let's say if I file my annual return on 10th of August for 1920, although it is not yet released, but example, if 1920 annual return I file on 5th of August, then the last date to avail ITC for financial year 1920 shall be 5th August, which is the actual date of filing annual return, 5th August or September return, which is 20th October. So 5th August or 20th October, whichever is earlier will be the answer. So I hope it is clear. Whichever is earlier, due date of filing, actual date of filing, annual return, whichever is earlier will be the last date to avail ITC. These are very important provisions, so definitely can be tested. Virat Kohli uses a bat which is sponsored by MRF Limited. Who shall remit GST on this transaction? Who shall remit GST on this transaction? So this is basically a sponsorship service. So it's sponsored by MRF Limited. So MRF Limited sponsored the bat of Virat Kohli. So Virat Kohli uses the bat which is sponsored by MRF. Now question is, who will pay GST on this sponsorship amount? So sponsorship transaction. First option is Virat Kohli. Second option is MRF. Third option is GST is not applicable on this sponsorship transaction in case of cricket. Fourth option is none of the above. So what could be the answer for this question? Please post in the chat box. What could be the answer for this question? Who is the service receiver, who is the provider and who is the receiver. If you see here, service provider here is generally when you have doubt who is the provider, who is the receiver. Okay, Chandani has answered stating none of the above. GST is not applicable. Okay, she's saying third option, GST is not applicable on this transaction. Okay, so let me detail this transaction. See, generally when you have a doubt as who is the provider, who is the receiver, just think who is getting money and who is paying money. Generally, service provider will receive the money and service receiver will give the money. So here, who is receiving the money? Virat Kohli is receiving the money for the sponsorship because he is displaying MRF brand on his bat. So Virat Kohli will receive the money. So he is the service provider and MRF is the service recipient. And sponsorship service says if the recipient of the service is a body corporate or partnership firm, liable to be paid in the reverse charge. So in this answer, the answer is option number B, which is rightly answered by two of the participants, Vidya and YouTube Premium. Two of them have rightly answered that MRF will be liable to pay GST under reverse charge on this question. Next, GST is exempt in case of. So in case of reverse charge, you have to be clear who is the provider, who is the receiver. Once you are clear, then you analyze the situation, whether recipient is liable to pay or provider is liable to pay. So based on that, you can come to a conclusion. Similarly, in sponsorship, let's say if the recipient is a proprietorship, then reverse charge is not applicable, forward charge will be applicable. So just analyze what is the criteria for the recipient, because many times, example, GTA service or director services or sponsorship service, the recipient has to be so and so. If the recipient is not so and so defined in this reverse charge notification, then forward charge will only apply. So next question is, GST is exempt in case of option number 1, renting of commercial premises. Second option is renting for residential purpose. Third option is renting of rooms for daily tariff of rupees 1,500 per day. Fourth option is B and C, which is renting for residential and renting of rooms up to 1,500. Both are exempt. This is, I believe, this is a very easy question. So I think you should be easily able to answer. Okay, we have two answers coming in, which are saying answer is C. So we have got two answers and both answers are saying answer is C, which is renting of rooms for daily tariff of 1,500 per day. Okay, so let me describe the answer first. Let me detail the provision. If you see renting, okay, one answer has come stating D, which is both B and C is exempt. Okay, let me come to the answer. If you see, okay, another answer also we have got both, which is D, both D, B and C. Okay, so if you see, when I'm giving renting for commercial purpose, it is definitely taxable. Renting for residential purpose, let's say example, you are staying in a home which is rent. That rent which you are paying, the supplier will not charge you GST. The landlord will not charge you GST because renting for residential purpose is exempt in GST, specifically under notification 11/2017. So renting for residential property, for residential dwelling is exempt in GST. Coming to the third option, renting of rooms, if you see, up to 1,000 rupees only is exempt in GST. Above 1,000 rupees, it is taxable. So the answer here is, since it is above 1,000 rupees, it is taxable. So answer is only B, because renting for residential purpose is alone exempt, commercial is taxable, and rent which is more than 1,000 rupees also taxable. So the answer here is B, which is renting for residential purpose. So example, if you go and stay in a hotel and if the room rent is more than 1,000 rupees, then GST will be charged to you. But if it is up to 1,000 rupees, GST will not be charged to you, because room rent up to 1,000, it has been exempt. It was exempt in service tax also, in GST also, up to 1,000 rupees, it is exempt. So the next question, under which scenario a casual taxable person is required to register in GST? Options are 1, required to register irrespective of the turnover. Second option is once the turnover exceeds the threshold limit, which is, let's say, 40 lakhs in case of goods or 20 lakhs in case of services. Third option is he is not required to, casual taxable person need not register, not required to register. Fourth option is he can voluntarily take registration. So which of the answer is right in this question? A casual taxable person when he needs to get a registration in GST? Option A, B, C, or D. So we have to go. We have got one answer which is answered by Divya. She has stated option A is correct, which is required to register irrespective of turnover. Okay. One more participant has answered. Chandani has answered stating option B is right, which is once the turnover exceeds the prescribed threshold, cash or taxable person has to register. Okay. 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 Vidya has answered stating option A. Harika has answered option A. Okay. So we are getting multiple answers in this question stating A. So the answer for this question, as rightly answered by majority, answer is A, which is required to register irrespective of turnover. I will explain this transaction. If you see, what is a casual taxable person, which is defined in GST law? Example, let's say I'm dealing in garments in Chennai. I have an office in Chennai, go down in Chennai, and I'm dealing in garments. Let's say there is an exhibition. There is an exhibition in Bangalore, one-day exhibition. So I want to put up a stall in Bangalore. So temporarily, I want to have a stall temporarily for one day. I do not do any business in Bangalore, but just for one day I have to put a stall. So I can get in that case a registration called as casual taxable person. The name itself shows casual. So I'm not going to do any permanent business there. Just for one day, I wanted to go and put up a stall. So I can take a casual taxable person registration. In case of a casual taxable person registration, Section 24 says registration is mandatory without limit. So even if my turnover is below or above 20 lakhs, 40 lakhs, I will have to mandatory get registered. Now this casual taxable person, so the answer is option A, which says required to register irrespective of turnover. So as answered by majority of the participants, around 7 to 8 have answered correctly. The answer here is required to register irrespective of the turnover. Next question. Whether GST is required to be paid in case of advance received. So I will again explain this question. This can be in, example in exam question, how can they can twist it further is they can give in detail. Let's say my turnover is 10 lakh rupees and I go and put up, I'm not registered, and I go and put up a stall in Bangalore. What happens? Should I register and do all the compliances in GST, or should I not register? So no, it can be more of a situational question also if they want to test. No, and if they want to twist the question. So in this question is, if I receive an advance from the customer, and let's say I'm going to supply after 3 months, on advance should I pay GST to the government or not required to be paid? First option is advance GST is applicable only in case of goods. Second option is advance I have to pay GST only in case of service. Third option says it's applicable on both goods and service. Fourth option states GST is not applicable to be paid on advance both in case of goods and service. So it's not applicable. So which of the answer is correct? Which of the option is correct in this given question? A, B, C, or D? Which of the answer is correct in this case? So post your answers, which of the option is correct in the given situation. So 2 answers have been received stating B option. Vidya has answered B, Divya has answered B, Chandani has answered B, right? So many of the answers which has come is correct. I'm liable to pay GST on advance received only in case of a service transaction, because in case of goods with effect from 15th November 2017, tax is not applicable to be paid on advance received. Only in case of service. So example, let's say I'm a chart accountant. I'm going to provide a service in the month of, let's say, August. A client has asked me an opinion which I'm going to give in the month of August or in the month of July. And the month of June, he gives me an advance. So when I receive an advance in this month, I will have to disburse by GST, because in case of service transactions, GST is liable to be paid even on advance received. Next question. An unregistered service provider having a turnover of rupees 2 lakhs provides an interstate supply. I repeat, a registered service provider, unregistered, he is an unregistered service provider because his turnover is within 20 lakh rupees. So an unregistered service provider having a turnover of rupees 2 lakhs provides interstate supply. Question is, which of the following is true? First option, registration is not required till the threshold limit, which is 20 lakhs. Second option says registration is mandatory since interstate supply is made, because he is sold outside the state, interstate supply, or he has provided a service outside the state, so registration is mandatory. Third option is registration required, but GST need not be paid till the threshold limit. So what third option says is, I have to get registered, but up to 20 lakhs till the threshold, I need not disburse GST to the government. Fourth option is none of the above. So which of the answer is correct in this question? So two of them have answered. The answer is B option. Two of them have answered stating answer is B. Registration is mandatory since interstate supply is made. Okay. So which of the answer is correct? Three of the participants have said answer B is correct. Okay. So any other participants want to answer this question? This is a twisted question. I repeat, this is a twisted question. As I said in the beginning, when you're answering MCQs, please analyze all the four options. Please don't get excited when you see an answer stating that yes, this can be correct. Please look at all the four options. So three of the participants have answered stating answer B is applicable. Now, here answer B is wrong. Answer B is wrong because section 24 rightly says that if you make an interstate supply, registration is mandatory. I agree. Section 24 rightly says. But on 13th July, okay, Vidya and Angu, another two answers have come stating C. Now Harika has said answer is A. Okay, so one more answer has come. So okay, slowly answer is coming to the option A now. Is they switch to option A? Okay. If you see 13th October 2017, I repeat 13th October 2017, there was a notification where they said, in case of service transactions, if I provide an interstate supply of service, registration is not mandatory under section 24. I repeat, so as per the notification of 13th October 2017, if I do an interstate supply of service, registration is not mandatory under section 24. But if I provide an interstate supply of goods, then registration is mandatory. Example, let's take I'm a chartered accountant. I am a chartered accountant. I provide service to my clients. I'm not registered under GST because my turnover is within 20 lakh rupees. I provide a service to a client in Pondicherry outside Tamil Nadu. I am providing interstate supply to him. In that case, registration is still not required because in case of supply of service, interstate supply, registration is not mandatory. Up to threshold limit, I can proceed. But let's say if I'm a dealer of goods, I am a dealer of, let's say, garments. My turnover is 4 lakhs, not registered in GST. And if I get an order from Pondicherry, from a supplier in Pondicherry, customer in Pondicherry, and I supply goods to Pondicherry, in that case, it becomes an interstate supply. Registration becomes mandatory, even though my turnover is only 4 lakhs. So please be careful. Question can be twisted in exams like this. So in case of interstate supply of service, registration is non-mandatory. So answer is option A, registration not required till the threshold limit. So only I'm saying, please be careful when you answer in exams. Questions can be twisted by the examiner. MCQ is easy, provided we exercise caution. So only I said no, for inter exams or even final exams, which are not comprehensive in nature, questions which are not comprehensive in nature. Many simple MCQs are asked, which are testing on your clarity of the subject. So only I'm saying clarity of the subject will be very important. See, let's say when I give a detailed question, descriptive question, work out the GST liability in this scenario. You are making an exempt supply, you are making a taxable supply, you are making a non-taxable supply, you are providing this supply in which something is exempt, partly is taxable, and then work out your tax liability. You have motor car input tax credit, you have input tax credit of food and beverage. So you have total so-and-so output transactions, so-and-so input transactions, work out the net tax liability of the taxpayer. Then you can make mistakes because it is a detailed question. In case of MCQs, many times they don't give a comprehensive case studies. It is more of concept clarity which matters. So please have your concepts clear, which will definitely help you get good amount of marks. Now, next question is, can a person register under composition scheme collect GST on its supplies? Option is 1, yes, in all cases. Option 2 is only on specified goods as notified, he can collect GST. Third option is only on specified services as notified. Fourth option is no, he cannot collect GST on outward supplies. So, okay, one answer has already come. It is saying no. So, answer is fourth. Divya has mentioned answer is fourth option. Okay. Okay. So, we are getting answers from the participants saying stating answer is fourth option, which is correct. A composition person cannot collect tax from the customers. It is specifically prohibited. Neither specific goods or service. In none of the case, a composition dealer can collect tax from the customer. He has to pay tax from his own pocket. Next question. A consultant provides its services to Purvika mobile store, and in return, the store gives him a phone free of cost to the consultant. Whether Purvika is making a supply? Answer is yes. Second option is no. Third option is yes, provided Purvika had availed ITC on the initial purchase of phone. Fourth option is none of the above. I repeat, I explain this question. Let's say I am a chartered accountant. I am providing service to you. You are having a mobile store. So I provide some consultancy services to you. Instead of giving me money, you are giving me a mobile phone. So I am providing you consultancy service. Instead of paying me money, you are giving me a mobile phone. Now, my question is, when Purvika is giving me a mobile phone, whether it is doing a supply. For Purvika, whether it will be treated as a supply in GST. Four options. Mention which of the option is correct as per you. Mention which of the option is correct as per you. Okay, so we've started getting answers. Many have said C, some have said D. Okay. Okay, so we are getting mixed answers. Participants are basically divided in option B and option C. Some are saying no. Some are saying yes, provided Purvika has availed ITC on this transaction, then it will be treated as a supply. Chandani also says no. Lavanya says answer is D. Okay, okay. So we have around 10 answers in the chat box, but none of the answer is correct. The answer is option A. I repeat, the answer is option A. Because, see, I have twisted this question by giving option C, provided he has taken ITC. I repeat, I have twisted this question. If you see, first I'll come to the clause C, why this is wrong. See, Schedule 1, Entry 1 says, permanent transfer disposal of an asset on which I have taken ITC will be treated as supply without consideration. Here there is a consideration. There are two supplies here. If I am a chartered accountant and I am providing service to you, I am providing you a supply and you are giving me consideration in kind. And as a mobile phone dealer, you are supplying my mobile phone and consideration is coming in kind to you in case of consultancy service. Please be careful in this question. There are two supplies. Even a consultant is making supplies for which consideration is in kind. And Purvika mobile store is also making a supply of mobile phone for which the consideration is in kind, which is consultancy service. The definition of consideration says, section 231 says, consideration can be in cash or in kind. And definition of consideration is there in your inter syllabus also and in your final syllabus also. So this question can be there, definitely be there in your inter exams. So I'm repeating again, question can be twisted like anything by the examiner. Here the answer is option A, because he is making a supply to me and I am also making a supply to him. Considerations are in kind in both these transactions. So here there are two independent transactions. One, I am making supply of service, consideration is coming in kind. So I will treat this as a supply, charge GST. And I have to pay GST, whether I charge or not, I have to pay GST on this transaction. My customer, who is Purvika mobile store, he is also making a supply of mobile phone. Whether he has taken ITC or not, that is irrelevant. When he is selling me something, he has to pay GST. I repeat, whether he has taken ITC or not is irrelevant. He has to charge me GST because he is getting consideration for that, which is consultancy. The clause A of Schedule 1 will apply only when there is no consideration. Permanent transfer or disposal of a business asset on which ITC is taken without consideration. So I hope everyone is clear with this. I have highlighted in detail why the answer is option number A. So let's come to the next question. Mr. Mayank, a jeweler registered in Mumbai, wants to sell his jewelry in a trade expo in Delhi. So Mr. Mayank is a jewelry dealer he's having his showroom in Mumbai, but he wants to participate in a trade expo. Trade expo basically an exhibition in Delhi. Which of the following is false? He needs to register in Delhi, which is casual taxable person registration. He has to take it. Second option says he needs to pay advance tax also on the estimated liability. He needs to pay advance tax. If I want to do an expo in Delhi, I need to pay an advance tax. Third option says he needs to have a place of business also in Delhi. Fourth option says he needs to file returns for the period of registration in Delhi. So what would be your answer in the given scenario? Repeat. Mr. Mayank is a jeweler, has a showroom in Mumbai. He wants to participate in an exhibition in Delhi. So 4 options: he needs to register in Delhi. Second option, he needs to pay advance tax on the estimated liability. Third point says he needs to have a place of business in Delhi. And fourth option says he needs to file GST registrations for the period of registration in Delhi. So which of the option is right in the given question? Which of the option is the answer? Okay. So majority of the participants are answering C. It's impressive because that's impressive because my question was here in negative. Which of the following is false? As I said, generally people might think, no, answer 1 is correct. He needs to register in Delhi because he's a casual taxable person when he's putting up an exhibition in Delhi. But my question was not which of the following is correct, but my question was which of the following is false. So the option number 3 is false. He need not have a place of business in Delhi because that is the reason he called as a casual taxable person. So yes, Harika, option C is false. So that is the answer for this given question, option C. Question 4. A registered person supplying taxable goods and services need not issue tax invoice if the value of the invoice is below 100, 200, 300 or 500. I repeat my question. A registered person supplying taxable goods and services need not issue tax invoice if the value of the supply is below 100, 200, 300 or 500. Which of the option is correct in this question? So I will explain this question. I am a registered taxable person. I supply goods or services. My question is, if my transaction is below so and so value, I need not raise tax invoice. Which of the value is this? Which of the option is correct? Please post which of the option is correct in this question. I am a registered person in GST. I issue taxes invoices. But if the amount of the value is below so and so value, I need not raise tax invoice. What is the value? Okay. Chandani has mentioned answer is B. Harika has said B. Vidya has said B. Fantastic. The answer is correct. Answer is B. If the value is below 200, tax invoice need not be issued. So let's say example, I'm having a provision store. I sell goods. So if I sell small quantities which are 100 rupees, 150 rupees, then I need not even issue a tax invoice. So answer is rightly answered by majority of the participants. The answer is 200, which is option number B. This question might appear easy, but let me mention that this question was there in your sample format questions, which is given in the ICAI website. So you can even have such questions also. So only I said limits and numbers, be careful and remember that. Generally what happens when we remember the limits or numbers, we tend to get confused when we see multiple options. Next question. Which of the following activities can be undertaken by a person registered under composition scheme? He can make interest supplies. He can make interest purchase. He can charge compounded tax on the outward supplies. He can take input tax credit. I repeat my question. Which of the following activities can be undertaken by a person registered under composition scheme? Make interest supplies. Make interest purchase. Charge compounded tax on output supplies. Fourth, take input tax credit. Which of the answer is correct in the given question? Please post your answers in the chat box. Which of the answers is correct in the given option? A, B, C or D? Okay, so answers are coming in. Someone has said B option, which is make interstate purchase. Srinivasan has answered option A, which is make interstate supplies. Okay. One more participant says make interstate purchase. So we are having mixed reactions, mixed answers. Anyone else who wants to make an attempt to answer this question? So if you see here, I will explain. A composition dealer has a lot of restrictions. If I want to adopt a composition scheme, there are a lot of restrictions placed in the GST law. One is I cannot take ITC on my purchase. Similarly, I cannot charge GST to my customers. I cannot make interstate supplies. But there is no restriction which says I cannot make interstate purchase. Okay, 2-3 more answers have come stating CC, but answer is B, because in this, see, the answer is which of the following can be taken by can be undertaken by composition, which cannot be taken. See, the answer is which can be undertaken by composition. It does not say which cannot be undertaken. So, and composition dealer can make interstate purchase, but he cannot make interstate sale. He cannot charge tax. He cannot take ITC. So, answer is option B. So, 2 of the participants have answered rightly out of 7 to 8 answers. That answer is B. Composition person can make interstate purchase. There is no restriction in the GST law. Many times we get confused because this question also can be said to be twisted, because many times we think composition dealer cannot do interstate transactions, but no, he cannot make interstate supplies, outward supplies, but he can make interstate purchase. Restriction is only on the outward supplies, not on the inward purchases. So please be careful when you are reading the provision. So like I said, clarity is important, clarity. Okay, fine. So with this question, let's travel to the next question. I believe this question is quite simple, not twisted. Let's see the answers now. So the question is, aggregate turnover shall comprise of option A, taxable supplies, option B, exempt supplies, option C, inward supplies, option D, exports. Okay, I think the question here is wrong. I need to change the option D here. Oh, sorry, I need to change the question here. Please read the question differently. The question is aggregate turnover shall not comprise of. I repeat, question please read as aggregate turnover shall not comprise of. The question is aggregate turnover shall not comprise of the following: taxable supplies, exempt supplies, inward supplies liable to RCM. Fourth option is exports. So which of the option is correct in this case? Aggregate turnover, I repeat, read the question as aggregate turnover shall not comprise of which of the following. So we are getting option C, option C, option C. Fine. Majority, as I said, this question is little easy. So majority of the participants have answered rightly. Option is C, inward supplies liable to RCM. So I will explain this question. So let's say example, I'm supplying goods and services. I'm a taxable person supplying goods and services. So all my taxable supplies, exempt supplies, exports will be included in the definition of aggregate turnover as per section 2 subsection 6, which defines what is an aggregate turnover. But the definition specifically says in case of inward supplies where I'm paying GST under reverse charge, that will not be counted for the purpose of aggregate turnover. Why? There be a confusion, because generally people might think aggregate turnover is all the turnover where I pay tax, and on reverse charge transactions also I pay tax. So the aggregate turnover definition specifically says inward supplies liable to RCM, although you pay tax on that, but that need not be added to the aggregate turnover. That is not to be counted for the purpose of aggregate turnover. So majority of the participants have rightly answered in this, stating answer is C, inward supplies liable to RCM shall not be added for the purpose of aggregate turnover. Next question. Mr. Jugal received interest towards a delayed payment from his customer for a sum of rupees 1000 on sale of goods worth rupees 50,000 from Mr. Pritesh. What shall be the time of supply of interest component? So I will repeat this question. This question is, I have supplied goods to you. Jugal has sold goods to Pritesh worth 50,000 rupees. But Pritesh could not make payment in time, so he gave an interest also to Mr. Jugal worth 1,000 rupees. So my question is, for that interest component, what is the time of supply? Option A is interest is not taxable. Option B, it says on the date of sale of goods, date of raising invoice, date of sale of goods, that will be the date for interest also, time of supply for interest also. Third option is whenever you receive interest from the customer, that date will be the time of supply. Fourth option is earlier of 2 and 3. So what would be the answer in this question? Which of the option is correct in this question? Answer is A, B, C or D. For the 1,000 rupees interest received, what is the time of supply? So I'm just looking at the chat box to see the answers. First, what would be the time of supply? Okay. Thomas Dure has answered option A, which is not taxable. He's saying interest income is not taxable in this case. Okay. So one answer has come as option A. Any more participants want to answer this question? What would be the time of supply for the interest component? So, okay. Srinivasan has said not taxable. Okay, one person, Ganga, has said option 4, earlier of 2 and 3. Srinivasan says not taxable. One answer has come as option C, which is receipt of interest income. Chandani is saying option C, receipt of income. Okay, so we are having mixed response. 2 of them have said not taxable. 2 of them have said option D, and 2 of them have said option C. I think no one is going with option B alone. So we have answers stating A, C or D. Again, Vidya's answer stating option A. Now the answer here is time of supply clearly says in case of receipt of interest. See, first, some have answered that it is not taxable. Let me mention that interest income is taxable. Valuation chapter, section 15, which is applicable in both your inter and final syllabus. Inter has the valuation chapter. Inter syllabus includes valuation. There it says interest income is also taxable on delayed payment of consideration. Normal interest income, like if I receive interest income of my fixed deposit, interest income towards loan, not taxable. That is exempt. But if I receive interest income towards delayed payment of consideration, that is specifically taxable, specifically mentioned in section 15 valuation chapter. So that is taxable. That is the first point. Coming to the time of supply, when I have to pay tax, what is the time of supply? Time of supply provision specifically says in case of interest receipt for delayed payment of consideration, time of supply will be receipt of interest, which is option C. So those who answered, Divya answered rightly, Chandani answered rightly, Mani Vasagam answered rightly. The answer is C, receipt of interest. I will give the logic. Why answer C is right? Logic. See, everyone in India, when they supply goods, they will mention one clause in their invoice that if payment is not received within a period of 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, interest will be applicable. So generally we don't accrue interest in our books if the payment does not come within the specified period, because we don't know whether the customer will pay money to me, pay interest to me or not, because the transaction value is also doubtful. Whether the question is interest is received or not, will be received or not, is a big question mark. That is the reason it is said, if you receive the interest, then you pay GST on that. Because when I supply goods for delayed payment, customers might not pay interest. So only they have said, the logic is, you can remember this example, in interest, the interest will be received or not is also a big question mark in case of supply of goods. So only if the interest is received, tax is to be paid. So time of supply will be receipt of interest in this example. So the next question, which of these is an exempt supply? Which of the below is an exempt supply? First option, alcohol. Second option, interest income. Third option, petrol. Fourth option, all the above. I repeat, Which of them is an exempt supply? Option is alcohol. Option B is interest income. Third option is petrol. Fourth option is all the above. Which answer is correct for this question? Okay, so answers have started coming in. One answer says, Raja says A option, which is alcohol. One more participant has answered, answer is B, which is interest income. Okay, any more participants want to answer this question? Which of them is an exempt supply? Section 2 subsection 47 defines what is an exempt supply. So exempt supply is specifically defined in the GST Act. Harika says interest income, which is option B, which is exempt supply. Okay. Okay, Divya has also shared interest income. One answer says option C. Another, Annapurni says interest income. So majority answers are coming stating interest income. But let me mention that all the answers are wrong. I repeat, all the answers given in the chat box are wrong. The answer is D, which is all the above. How this question is so twisted, I will say. This question might look very, very simple. I repeat, very, very simple, one line question. But it is twisted because exempt supply says definition includes even non-taxable supply. I repeat, exempt supply definition clearly says includes non-taxable supply. And non-taxable supply is defined as anything which is not liable to tax under this act. Interest income is exempt by a notification. So interest income is exempt, no doubt. Many of you have rightly answered. Interest income is exempt, right? But alcohol, petrol are non-taxable supply. I repeat, alcohol and petrol are non-taxable supply. And exempt supply includes even non-taxable supply. So if you conclude and put in a nutshell, exempt supply includes interest income, which is exempt by notification, and also non-taxable supply. Non-taxable supply includes alcohol and petrol. So subset to subset. So exempt supply will include alcohol, petrol also, and interest income also. So the answer is option number D, which is all the above. So only I said questions can be twisted. It might look very simple, but questions can be twisted. So only many of the questions I have tried to twist to show that how the examiner can twist the questions in your exams. It might look one line question or two line question, might be simple, but it is actually a twisted question. So which of them exempt supply? Your answer is all the above, because alcohol and petrol are non-taxable supply, which are also included as part of the exempt supply definition. So answer is all the above. Now we come to the next question. An entity having a single PAN can take multiple registrations within the same state if it has different place of business, different business verticals. In one state, only one registration is allowed. Fourth option is all the above. So the question is, a legal entity having a single PAN number within one state, example within Tamil Nadu, can I take multiple registrations? Options are, one option says if I have different place of business, I can take different registration within the same state. Second option says if I have different business vertical, I can take different registrations. Third option says in one state only one registration is allowed in GST. Fourth option says all the above are possible. Even if I have different business, I can take different registration. Even in case of different business vertical, I can take different registrations. Option 4 says all the above. Which is the answer? So Thomas Durai said that option 4 is the right answer, all the above. Divya has said option A is the answer, which is place of business. So we are having answers coming in. Some have answered D, some have answered A. Any more participants want to participate? The answer, again, this is a very simple question. How many registrations I can take in GST? I would say this is a simple question. So we have only two answers as of now. One says D, another says E. Many of the participants have not come up with an answer for this question. So what is the answer for this question? Okay, I will explain the provision. I repeat, I will explain the provision, and then I will come to the answer. Now, if you see, when the GST law came in 1st July 2017, okay, so answers are coming. Okay, so when the GST law came in, they said within same state, if I have multiple business vertical, I can take multiple registrations. Okay, so answers are coming in D, 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 D. Okay, so many of the participants have answered option D. I repeat, many of them have answered D, which is all the above. Harika has said option B. Okay, but we had around two participants or three participants which said answer is A. So we have multiple answers coming in now, and many of them said answer is D, D, and two of them have said answer is A, and three of them have said answer is B. Now here, when the GST law came in, it said if you have multiple business vertical within the same state, you can take multiple registrations. So option B was the answer. But from 1st February 2019, they made an amendment. 1st February 2019, they said only if you have different place of business, you can take different registration. So business vertical concept is no more there from 1st February 2019. Only if you have different place of business, you can take different registration. So answer C is correct. Incorrect. Answer C is wrong, because in one state I can take multiple registration provided I have multiple place of business. So option C is not possible. So automatically option D cannot be possible, which says all the above. And business vertical, as I said, was earlier. For 1st February, they have said if you have different place of business, you can take multiple registration. It is an option given to you. So let's say example, I have one place of business in one premises. In nearby street, I have another place of business. Let's say in T Nagar, I have one place of business. In Mailapur, I have another place of business, 2 branch office for a CA office. CA office has an option to take 2 separate registration numbers, one for Mailapur branch, another for T Nagar branch, because it is an option given to them. So answer here is option A, which is different place of business. Now I will go to next option. Next question. Yes, Thomas Dure rightly answered. It is option A, which is multiple place of business. I can take multiple registration. Now my next question is dependent on the first question. If you see, Mr. Bahubali transfers stocks from its HO branch in Anna Nagar to its another branch in T Nagar, having different GST number but same PAN number, whether GST is applicable. So a company transfers stock from its branch in HO, which is in Chennai, to another branch in Chennai, which is having a different GST number. Because in the last slide we saw, if I have different place of business within the same state, I can take different GST number. So in this example, the entity has 2 separate numbers for the 2 branches. Now they are having single PAN. They have transferred goods from one branch to another. Question is whether GST is applicable on this transaction. First option says yes. Second, it's an exempt supply because it is own entity. It is same entity, same legal entity. Third option says no, GST is not applicable. Fourth option says none of the above. So answers are coming in. Some have said yes, it is applicable. Okay, one options. Okay, 2 of them have said it is not applicable. 2 of them have said it is not applicable, and 3 of them have said it is applicable. So answer here, if you see, I have a GST number, you have a GST number. My branch in Anna Nagar have a GST number. T Nagar has a GST number. One GST number to another number is liable to GST. It's a supply because section 25(4) says we all are treated. A person who is having a distinct GST number will be treated as a distinct person in the GST law. So although as per legal provisions and as per income tax, we might have a single PAN, same entity, but for the purpose of GST law, we both the branches are treated as a distinct person and different persons, and hence any transaction between branch to branch will be liable to GST. And the answer is option A, which is yes, it is a supply. GST is applicable. Next question: whether GST is applicable on supply of services by an employer to an employee. GST is applicable on the service provided by an employer to an employee if Services are provided as part of employment contract. Services are provided not as part of employment contract. Neither A nor B. Fourth option says both A and B. So I repeat, I explain this question. Let's say I'm an employer, I have employees. I provide service to them, let's say food service during my employment or a bus transportation facility, and I recover some amount from them. So should I charge GST to my employees for the service provided by the employer to an employee? First option says yes, if it's part of okay, GST is payable if service are okay. It says first option says GST, yes, it is payable if it is as part of my employment contract with the employee, that yes, I will provide you this bus service, yes, I will provide you food service. Second option says no, service GST will be payable if it is not a part of my employment contract. So first option says GST is payable if it is part of my employment contract. Second option says GST is payable if it is not part of my employment contract. Option C says neither A nor B, it is not payable at all. Fourth option says both, in both scenarios A and B, GST will be payable. A tricky question because there are a lot of challenges on this transaction. Many have answered B, fantastic. Majority of them have answered B, and all your answers are right. Almost 10 of them have answered, and your answer is right. Option is B. If services are provided not as part of employment contract, then it is liable to GST. Because I will explain. If I'm providing service to my employee as part of my employment agreement, contractual agreement, then that becomes a part of my employer-employee transaction, Schedule 3. No GST. Because for all those services, I'm paying him salary. There is some consideration, there is some contractual terms between an employer and an employee. But if I'm providing something to my employee which is not as part of my employment agreement, then that will be taxable in GST law. Mr. Malia, having a turnover of rupees 50 lakhs, is wholly into the business of making exempt supplies. So there's a businessman, he's having a turnover of 50 lakhs and his total turnover is all exempt turnover. Question is whether he is required to get registered in GST. Is registration required? Options are 1, yes, registration is required provided his turnover exceeds 20 lakhs. Okay. Second option says registration is not required. Third option says he may opt for voluntary registration. Fourth option says registration is mandatory irrespective of the turnover. Option A, you can read it as 20 lakhs or 40 lakhs depending on the exemption threshold limit. So question is whether is required to register. Post your answers. What could be the answer for this question? His turnover is 50 lakhs. Okay. One option has come. Answer is B, which is he is not required to register in GST. Okay. Option B. Okay. So participants are saying answer is option B. That is the correct answer because section 23 says if a supplier is exclusively engaged in exempt supplies, then he need not get registered in GST. So since this Mr. Malia is exclusively engaged in only exempt supplies, he need not get registered irrespective of his threshold limit. So answer is B, which is not required. So all the participant majority have answered correctly. There were 1 or 2 answers which said option A, but answer is B, is not required to register because section 23 says irrespective of your turnover, if you have exclusively exempt supplies, no need to register. Now let's say example, Mr. Malia makes a taxable supplies worth 1 lakh rupees. I repeat, after 50 lakhs turnover, he makes a transaction of rupees 1 lakh rupees, which is taxable. Let's say he provides some consultancy. In that case, he is not engaged in exclusive exempt supplies. He has a taxable supply also. Then he will not come under section 23. Mandatory registration will be required. So if a person has exclusively exempt supplies, no need to register. But if he does a single transaction which is taxable, then he will come out of the section 23 and he will be mandatory required to get registered. Next question. Mr. Babu buys a car for personal use for rupees 1 crore. And after 4 years, he sells the same for 25 lakhs. Does it constitute a supply? Answer is, options are no, not a supply since it is not in the course of business. Second option is yes, it constitutes supply. Third option is sale of car is out of the scope of GST. Fourth option is none of the above. So if you see, okay, so you can post the answers. The answer here is not a supply since it is not in the course or furtherance of business. Because now the question is 25 lakhs, it can be 55 lakhs also. The car can be sold for any value, 25 lakhs, or you can read it as 45 lakhs. Answer is no, because it is not a supply done in the course or furtherance of business. Because I'm not in the business, it is not a business asset, it's a personal transaction. Because if you say this transaction is taxable, then what will happen? Sale of old newspaper from home, let's say at my home I sell old newspaper, then that also will become a supply. So personal transactions are not liable to supply. So here it is only one of a transaction, not in the course of business, and hence option A is the right answer, not a supply since it is not done in the course or furtherance of business. Yes, some of the participants have rightly answered. We have got 4-5 answers and all have rightly said option A, because it is not in the course or furtherance of business. Also, we had an FAQ issued by the ministry CBIC on 2017, where they specifically answered this question, that if you purchase a car and sell a car for more than the taxable threshold limit, it is not a supply because it is not in the course or furtherance of business. It's a personal transaction. Next question is, exempt supply includes. I think I've already discussed exempt supply definition. I've already discussed, so I will not get into this detail. Since exempt supply, I've already discussed what exempt supply includes. Next question. What is the validity of GST registration certificate? I have a GST registration. What is the validity of that registration? First option is 1 year. Second option is 2 years. Third option is 5 years validity. Fourth option is it is valid till it is cancelled. So what is the answer for this question? What is the validity of my GST registration? First option says 1 year. After 1 year, again you have to renew. Second option says 2 years. Third option says 5 years. Fourth option, valid till it is cancelled. Here, if you see, the answer is option 4, because there is no validity of the GST registration until unless you cancel or the department cancels, it remains valid. So the answer is not 1 year, 5 year, or 2 years. It is valid till it is cancelled. Next question. Transportation of goods along with freight and insurance is an example of, I repeat, transportation of goods along with freight and insurance is an example of option A, composite supply, option B, mixed supply, option C, non-GST supply, and option 4, none of the above. I'm not looking at the answers now because almost we are falling short of the time now. We are almost coming to the end of our timing. So I'm not looking at the answers, but you can keep posting your answers in the chat box. So we have a lot of interactions going on. So this is an example of what type of transaction: composite supply, mixed supply, non-GST supply, or none of the above. If you see, this is an example of composite supply, option A, because GST, see, when I'm transporting goods to my customer along with freight and insurance, my intention of the customer is to get the goods from me, not to get the freight service or insurance service from me. So the principal supply here is a transportation of goods supply. This is a naturally bundled supply, goods along with insurance and freight. And this example is specifically given in the definition of composite supply also in the GST Act. So transportation of goods along with freight and insurance is an example of composite supply. Something like, let's say, sale of laptop along with laptop bag. That is also an example of composite supply, because your intention is to purchase laptop from me, not to get a laptop bag from me. So that is also a composite supply. Next question is, what is the time of supply in case of reverse charge transaction? I repeat, time of supply of service in case of reverse charge transaction. First option is date of payment. Second option is date immediately following 60 days from the date of invoice. Third option is earlier of the above. And fourth option is date immediately following 90 days from the date of invoice. So what is the time of supply in case of reverse charge of services? So post your answers. What do you think? What could be the answer as time of supply of service in case of reverse charge? This question also might look easy, but it is twisted. Here, many might generally remember it is 60 days, 60 days, 60 days. No. If you make payment within 60 days, the date of payment. But if you do not make payment within 60 days, date immediately following 60 days is the answer. So here the option is C, which is the answer. Earlier of option A or B. Earlier of the above. Date of payment or date falling 60 days from the date of invoice. So if I make payment within 60 days, that is the date of time of supply. If I do not make payment within 60 days, date immediately following 60 days will be the time of supply. So please be careful while you answer the questions. Next question is, discount given after the supply is deductible from the value of supply. If when it is deductible, if discount is agreed as per the agreement entered before supply. Option B is discount is linked to my invoices. Option C, if this proportionate ITC is reversed by the supplier recipient. Fourth option in if all the above. When the discount, the value of supply in case of discount can be reversed. So let's say example, I will give an example. I supply goods to you worth 1 crore rupees. I charge GST to you. Then I give you a credit note for some 5% discount. Answer is, can I reverse GST? Can I exclude this from the value of supply? So question says in this below scenarios you can reverse. First option says if it is as with agreement. Second says if it is linked to invoice you can reverse. Third option says if proportionate ITC is reversed by recipient you can reverse. Fourth option says if all the above was covered then only it can be reversed. This question is there in sample MCQs in the ICAI website. So it's not an easy question, it's an important question, might be there in exams also. Because this is an important question which we all should know from the practical sense, a very important question pertaining to discount. Here the answer is option D, which is all the above. Section 15 subsection 2 talks clearly that in case of discounts, value can be excluded if three conditions are satisfied. All these three conditions are given as option A, B and C. That it should be as per agreement. After making supply, let's say COVID-19, after I sold goods to you, you are saying, sir, I cannot make payment to you full payment because COVID-19 is there. You come and ask me 2% discount suddenly. It was not agreed by both of us before making supply. So because of COVID-19, I give you 2% random discount. Then it cannot be excluded from the value because condition A fails here. It was not agreed before making supply. So only if all the three conditions are satisfied, A, B and C, it can be excluded from the value of supply. I hope I've explained that in detail because it's an important question. I think this I've already discussed registration. Next question is, in case of mixed supplies, GST rate shall be, in case of mixed supplies, GST rate shall be option A, that of the principal supply. Option B, supply attracting highest rate. Option C, supply attracting lowest rate. And option D is none of the above. Very simple question, I believe. I hope everyone should rightly answer in the chat box because it's a fairly simple question. Here the answer shall be GST rate shall be as per the supply attracting highest rate, which is option B. Because in case of composite supply, section 8 says as that of principal supply, that will be the rate. But in case of mixed supplies, section 8 says highest rate will apply. So let's say example, I'm giving a gift box which has dairy milk, chocolate, let's say some wafer biscuits, some dry fruits, and I'm packing and giving you for 100 rupees. In that case, all products are taxable at different rate of GST, but cold drink is taxable at the highest rate, which is 28%. So since this is a mixed supply, 28% will be applicable on the entire value of 100 rupees of the gift basket. So in case of mixed supply, highest rate will apply on the entire transaction as per section 8. I've already discussed in detail about schedule 1, but okay, I will go back to my slide. Let me again discuss this question. Mr. Ram was satisfied by the work of his employee, Mr. Raj. And so he gave him a scooter, new scooter, worth 90,000 rupees as a gift for his performance. Does this constitute supply? So gift given by an employer to an employee worth 90,000 rupees. Is it a supply? Option A, no, it is not a supply because it's a gift. Option B says, yes, it's a supply. Option C says it will be taxable only if the gift value crosses rupees 1 lakh. And option D says none of the above. So what is the answer? Think and post in the chat box. What do you think could be the answer to this question? This is also, I believe, an easy question because again, it's a number game. The number you have to remember, what is the number beyond which the gift becomes taxable? So the answer here is B, that yes, it is amounts to supply because entry 2 of schedule 1 proviso says gift given by an employer to an employee single employee, an employee more than 50,000 rupees, even without consideration, is treated as a supply. So given by the employer to an employee worth more than 50,000 is treated as a supply as per Schedule 1. And hence answer is yes, it is supply. Next question is, what is the maximum rate proposed under GST law? Almost we are coming to the end of our presentation. First option says 28%, second says 14%, third 20, fourth 40. I think this is a very easy question. What is the maximum rate proposed in the GST law? Answer here is option 4, which is 40%. So the GST law has a provision to tax rate up to 40%, but as of now, government has a maximum rate of 28%, 14% CGST, 14% SGST, or IGST of 28%, however you call it. Plus we have cess also, but the highest rate as of now we have 28%, but the maximum rate proposed in the GST law is up to 40%. So the answer is D, which is 40%. So here I come to the end of the presentation. I would just like to say that don't stress, do your best and forget the rest. Owing to the COVID-19 pandemic, please don't stress. As I said in the beginning, many have stress. Even people who perform well also have stress. But be focused, plan big, dream big. As I said in the beginning also, if you have dreamt for and pass in the exams, now you have given an opportunity. You have 100 days extra. So you can aim for a rank also. If you have a rank, career is set, the beginning becomes a huge success. The entry to your corporate after your first job becomes a big success. So please dream big. If the exam is postponed, don't regret about it. Don't be sad about it. Don't take stress because of that. Take that as an opportunity. We don't know what opportunity it gives to us. Maybe that has happened good for you. We don't know. Give your best. Hopefully you might get more good marks, better marks, or you might score a rank because of the postponement of exams. To take it positively, keep up the momentum. So thank you all. I will just stop sharing my slide. Hope you all got some interesting points, interesting outputs. You all could revise your syllabus, get a hint of how MCQs are being questioned in the exams. So over to SICASA.
Thank you so much, sir. That was really an very interactive session indeed. I now request Lavanya, member of our SICASA, to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, Lavanya.
Thank you, Annapurni. It is a privilege to have been asked to deliver the vote of thanks for this seminar. I, on behalf of the SICASA Kanchipuram branch, would like to extend a hearty thanks to Sumit Kedia sir for taking valuable time off your schedule to support the students in their studies. Thank you, sir. It was a very interactive and lively session. I'm sure your words of advice will help the students in battling stress and maintaining focus. Thanks a lot, sir. I thank C. Narasimha Raghavan sir for the special address. I'm sure the students will take your words of advice to heart. I thank the chairperson, Kanchipuram District Branch of SIRC, C.A. Geeta ma'am, SICASA Chairman, C.A. Satyanarayanan sir, Chairperson, Student Committee of Kanchipuram District Branch, C.A. Madhumita ma'am, and other branch officials for making this seminar possible. I thank all the members of the SICASA team for their efforts in making this seminar a success. And lastly, I thank all the students who have been with us this afternoon. I hope today's seminar will prove truly useful in your exam preparation and be a good value addition. Thank you all.
Thank you all, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Lavanya. We hereby close for today's session. I would like to put a word to all the students that we would be coming with many more sessions like this. So please subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications, and you can follow us on our Instagram page and Facebook page for getting notifications and other posts about the upcoming webinars. Thank you so much, everyone who has been a part of this session. Thank you.